For the monsters of the deck, we run 3 Nurse. Basically, whenever an effect is activated that allows your opponent to gain life points, they take that amount as effect damage instead. 3 Lilith, because we run a good amount of traps of the deck, so we want to we want to search them as fast as possible. And finally, 3 Condemned Witch, a fun new add in the deck. Basically, when this card is normal summoned, you can add a forbidden quick play spell from your deck to your hand. And in this build, I decided to just run 3 of the Forbidden Chalice because basically target a face-up monster on the field until the end of this turn. It gains 400, but it has its effects negated. So it's just a fun way to kind of, in a sense, solemn your opponent. Not really, but kind of just give your kind of render your opponent's monster useless. But its other effect is where it helps get Nurse onto your side of the field. During your opponent's main phase, quick effect, you contribute this card, special summon a level 4 a level 4 fairy monster from your deck except itself. You can only use each effect of Condemned Witch once per turn. A level 4 fairy, and what do you know? Dark Lord Nurse is a level 4 fairy, so it works hand to hand. This part of the deck, we run 3 Mystic Mine. Mainly, more than likely, we're going to control less monsters than our opponents, so we want to prevent our opponent from activating monster effects or attacking, and just stalling for, not really for game, but just as long as we get our combo pieces together. Terraforming, 3 Forbidden Chalice, like I said before. Searchable with Condemned Witch. Target a face-up card on the field, it gains 100, but it has its effects negated. 3 Pot of Duality. We don't really special summon with this deck, so Pot of Duality, when it's activated, you can evacuate the top 3 cards of your deck, add one of the evacuated cards, and then shuffle the rest back into your deck. But you can only use this effect once per turn, and you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn. Like I said, doesn't hurt us that much because we don't really special summon unless through Condemned Witch, but if anything, if you don't have her and you activate this card, you're probably just gonna gain the advantage anyway in some way, shape, or form. And we do run the 2 Pot of Desires just in case we don't see the cards we want. We can just banish the top cards of our deck to thin out the deck and hopefully get what we need. And finishing up these spells, we run 2 Banishment of Dark Lords. Add a Dark Lord card from your deck to your hand, except this card. You can only use this effect. You can only activate 1 Banishment of Dark Lords once per turn. For the traps of the deck, we run 3 Gift Card. Basically, when it's activated, your opponent gains 3,000 life points, but since this is an Earthburn deck, they would lose that many life points instead. Then we also run 3 Try and Guess. You can declare 1 extra deck monster type using Secret or XC. Both players reveal their extra decks, and whoever has the most of the declared type gains 3,000, but Nurse Burn, they lose that 3,000 instead. 3 Paths of Destiny. Both players flip a coin. If it's heads, they gain 2,000. If it's tails, they lose 2,000 life points. Ring of Destruction. Target a monster your opponent controls that has attack greater than or equal to their life points. Destroy it. You take whatever life points that monster was, and then your opponent takes that amount of life point damage as well. 2 Bad Reaction to Sim Much. It's basically a trap version of Nurse. By that I mean, as long as this card remains face up on the field, the effect of increasing your opponent's life points is negated and changed to inflict the same amount of points in direct damage to your opponent. Then we also run 2 Reckless Greed. You could change it up, but I found out that 2 was decent enough for this deck. Anyways, draw 2 cards, but skip your next 2 draw phases. If you chain both together, you don't have to skip 4, you just have to skip the 2 of your draw phases. And finally, a choice some of you may not have expected, maybe. Paleozoic Dino Miscus. Basically, the only reason why I run this card is to banish a face-up monster my opponent controls. And by that I mean when this card is activated, you can target one card on the field, discard a card, and if you do, banish it. And there's also the effect of once per turn, if you activate a trap, you can special summon it from your grave, but we don't really use it for this deck because we don't really use the extra deck that much. But if you do want to change the how do I say this? If you want to change up some cards, I would suggest getting rid of the 2 Dino Meniscus. I have no idea how to say that. Anyways, replace these 2 because we run 2 Ring of Destruction and 2 Path of Destinies. We do, or at least a good suggestion would be to Barrel Behind the Door. And this card does have the older effect, I believe, but anyways, its whole effect is the whole purpose of this card is basically when you would take effect damage to your life points, you can activate this card and switch the damage to your opponent in this set. So for example, you activate maybe Path of Destiny, you accidentally get a Tails, you activate Barrel Behind the Door. Instead of you taking the 2,000, your opponent takes the 2,000. Same with Ring of Destruction. You activate it. Instead of you taking whatever damage, your opponent would take the additional damage as well. Once they're done taking, before they take their damage. Because Ring of Destruction, you take the damage first, and then your opponent takes the damage of whatever monster you destroyed. But yeah, that'll wrap it up for the traps. The extra deck of the deck basically revolves around try and guess. Now, like I said before, you can declare one of the 3 types, Fusion, Synchro, or XZ. Each player reveals their extra deck, and whoever has the most of the declared type gains 3,000, but again with Nurse, they lose 3,000. So what I did for the extra deck is I just filled it with a bunch of Link monsters because Link monsters are not specified on Try and Guess. And again, that's like the only reason why we run a extra deck, just to trigger Try and Guess. And it really doesn't matter what assortment of Link monster you use in the extra deck, as long as you have something to trigger Try and Guess. And by that I mean be able to reveal an extra deck. So yeah, that basically does it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy, and see you all next time.